Hi guys, so I'm Kyla, welcome back to Infinite Library. I'm coming at you with a bit of a different video today. I'm actually coming at you with a gaming video. You might actually be able to see my Switch there in the background. But I have just finished my first game of the year, which, given it's the middle of March, doesn't sound great. But this is a game I've been working on for like, I don't know, 6 to 9 months at some point, and I am so hyped about this game. This is 100 Line. Last Defense Academy. This is by the same people that made Danganronpa and the Zero Escape series. And yeah, essentially, I'm not going to go into too many details about what the game is, because if you know, then I hope that's why you clicked on this video. I'm also going to preface by saying this video is entirely full of spoilers for this game. I've just finished it. I'm incredibly hyped, and I want to do some tier rankings of what I think were my favourite characters and the best endings in this game, because as the name suggests, there are 100 endings in this game after the first main route. Essentially, you are playing as this character called Takumi. He ends up at the very start of the game finding that he has been basically tasked, along with a bunch of other teenagers, to essentially defend his planet from invaders, along with a bunch of other teenagers who have all developed these special powers that turn them into fighters, basically. It's kind of strategy battles, so similar to Fire Emblem, but what is unusual is that there is also a lot of mystery in this game, and after you finish the first 100 days, because that is the goal, is that you have to reach 100 days, the game kind of resets, and you can time jump into different timelines. And basically there are 100 different endings to get in this game. There are a specific number of routes that are different stories. There are bad endings, there are good endings, but there is no one true definitive ending, which I still don't know how I feel about that. I feel like you kind of choose for yourself which you think is the true ending, and there are some endings that definitely feel more like an ending than others, I would say. But I do think it's an interesting concept to basically have no specific true ending for the game, and to have 100 different endings that end happily, unhappily, bittersweet, whatever. And interestingly, there are still mysteries at the end of this game that have not been resolved. I hit my 100th ending this morning and I was like, are we gonna get any extra things here now that we've hit all 100 that's gonna like fill in some plot holes and mysteries of like things that were never explained? No, it just ended with the 100th ending and that's it. So I know we are hopefully getting DLC, and I hope that we'll explore some of the stuff, because I'm like, what is the deal with the lady in the lab coat? What is actually on the satellite? Because we never see them get to the satellite. I thought for sure we were going to see them on the satellite, but that never gets there. We never get past day 100. And yeah, so still lots of mysteries with this game, but I really enjoyed this game. Not all the time, I will preface. There are certain routes that are incredibly stressful, routes that just weren't for me, some routes that were actually kind of triggering for me. This is a very dark game, and it is not afraid to go dark in terms of its themes. It's probably, I'd say, the level it gets to, I think, is actually darker than Danganronpa at this point. But yeah, overall, really enjoyed this game. We'll definitely be replaying it. Also going to be cosplaying it because it is who I am as a person. But I thought I would do some tier rankings while it's all fresh in my mind of who my favourite characters are in this game and which routes and endings are my favourite. Okay, so we're going to start off with a character ranker. As it said, this is a heavy spoilers one. At this point, I would say if you've not played the game and you don't want spoilers, please click off. Thank you for watching up to this point, but we are going to be spoilery from now on. So let's see. Oh, okay, we've got different variations of the characters. That's interesting. I wasn't expecting that. So I'm not going to be super spoilery in this part. When we get to the endings, I will be discussing those, but we are going to be looking at all these characters, some of which you may know, some of which you may not know. So we have 3 different versions of each character. So we have, trying to see these properly, we have Route 0, which is the initial first route. We have Redo, and then we have FI, which route is FI? Let me check. It's really hard to see. I'm just going to zoom in a little bit here because I need this. Right, you can see that a little bit better now. So FI, root 0, redo, FI. What is FI? I'm wondering if FI is actually just root before you learn the ending of root 0. So just the base self, I think. That's what I'm going to say it is. So yeah, we've got Takumi, we have root 0, which is the end of the first root before you go into the redoing. You've got the redo timeline ones, and you have FI, which I think is the very beginning of the root. So let's see how we go with this one. And we've got a different rankings. I'm not changed these. So yeah, we're gonna have the lowest of the low. No amount of writing can save you. F needs to be better written. E, get you some DLC. These are definitely the people that just needed more, I think. D, bad, but serves purpose. C, true mid. B, fine. A, good. S, great. Goat. Right, so I guess let's get going. So, Takumi at the very start of the game. I'm sorry, but you're kind of mid, sir. You kind of are. You do get more interesting as time goes on, but you are kind of mid. Which I'm gonna say also follows for route 0. He doesn't change a whole lot in the initial route. Redo Takumi, however, I did grow to like. I still don't love him, unfortunately. I like him well enough as a protagonist. He serves the purpose. He does have a personality, but because you're controlling everything he does, it's hard to necessarily always know if what you're choosing is what he would do if he's being true to himself. So I'm gonna put him in a good. He's an interesting character. You know, he gets you through the 100 routes, but he's not, unfortunately, my favourite protagonist. Takamaru, I love Takamaru. Takamaru is actually kind of great. Yeah, we're gonna put him in great, and we're gonna put him in great for every single variation of him, because I don't think he really changes much between all the different routes. He's just a really stand-up guy, a really sweet guy as well, and I love Takamaru with most of my heart. Not quite all of my heart, because other characters are gonna be in the GOAT section, but I think he's great. Does he have a lot to him? Not really. I wish there was kind of a route that was more specific about Takamaru, but I don't think there really was. So, Hiroko! Okay, so Hiroko at the beginning is get you some DLC, because basically she isn't in it for very long. That's kind of the whole point. And then also the same for Hiroko at the end of the route, she's not in it for very long. But Hiroko, when we finally get to know her, she's great. I love her whole struggle. I love that she stays true to her character pretty much all the way through. She never quite loses that edge that she has and the attitude that she has, which I appreciate even when her feelings change. She's not quite a GOAT for me though. I really, really like her. I think she's great and I enjoy her story, even though unfortunately it's a story I've seen done before, and I think that is why she's not quite in GOAT for me. And there are times when I wish she had been more proactive, I think. So that's why she's going to be in great, because I do really like her. But I personally could have used a little bit more for her. She is one of the main heroines. Basically every single girl in this game, apart from Darumi and Moko, if we're talking romantically, are heroines at some point or another. And she is probably what many people would consider to be the true heroine. She's not personally my favourite of the heroines. If we're shipping anyone with Takumi, that would be Tsubasa. Okay, Darumi. I fucking love Darumi. All the way fucking through. In fact, there needs to be variation here. Because Darumi is fucking great. But Darumi, when you get her route, I love her. She actually, no, fuck it. She's all going and go. I love her. I love her completely. I really appreciated her route. It was not what I thought it was going to be. I'm glad it wasn't a romance route. And I really felt for her. She is my girl. She is my all-time favourite character in this game, which is so funny because she's also a character I wasn't sure I was going to like from the trailers. She very much can come off as too much. And I kind of thought that of a lot of my friends too, but so far all my friends that have played the game have not found her too much. They've actually really liked her, and I think she's too much sometimes. She is extreme, but that is her personality, and when you find out more about her, it makes complete sense. And I also just love her ridiculous sense of humor. Like, she is always the one who, despite she's thinking that she is like the dark shadow in the room, she is always the one that lightens the mood, and I appreciate that. Whenever everyone's really depressed, Jeremy is usually the one that's just like making crazy comments to take people's minds off things. And yeah, I absolutely adore her. She is my girl. I could go on for ages about Jeremy, but I will not, because I don't want this video to be too long. Ato! Oh boy, okay, here we're fully into spoilers. I like Ato. I like Ato a lot. I'm gonna put him in good for the initial route before the ending of that route, because obviously there is a twist at the end regarding that character. That ending turns him right from good into great. It is terrifying. I don't know if you could see that sprite very well, but that sprite is fucking terrifying. And I'm also gonna put his redo into great, because this specific sprite of him, I will say, there are other endings with him where I don't love him. I don't love him in the SF route, because I just don't believe him. To be honest, there are so many times where he's like, I'm good now, guys. And you don't want to believe him, but I believe him in the redo route as having finally changed. So yeah, we're going, the worst Ato and the best Ato are basically in S, and normal Ato when he's pretending to be someone he's not is good. Ato's an interesting one. He also could have so easily been my favourite character. I think I associate him a lot more with my flatmate, because my flatmate adores him. So he's not quite in my goat, but he is up there. I really love him. I love his story and his twist. And mostly I love the writing for him. I just don't believe it in the SF route, unfortunately. Tsubasa, I fucking love Tsubasa. Tsubasa is very much like Takamaru in that I don't think she changes that much at all throughout the game. She's just also really solid, really lovable, easily the least zany and most down-to-earth of the characters, I would say. Even her gimmick is kind of forgotten a lot of the time, but she's really believable and a really lovely character. And again, she is like the one I see working really well with Takumi. She was the romance I believed in when I didn't really believe in any of the others, and she's just great. Like, she's constantly the MVP a lot of the time in dangerous plots, because she crafts things, she fixes a lot of things, and that's kind of her thing, and they're often relying on her, so like, she's vital to the plot. Oh, Gaku. I really want to put you in no amount of writing can save you, but the issue is, I think, is that he has some things I do like about you. So I'm actually going to put you in needs to be better written. For me, the issue with him is I really don't like his behaviour towards women. I really, really dislike it, and he never changes in that. That's like his core personality trait, and it just grates on me constantly. He has good moments. I do like his backstory, but I never like him. Like, he's great in battles as well, but unfortunately, he just really rubs me up the wrong way, and I just can't like him. I really dislike him. I think there is possibility for him to be better written if they let go some of his misogynistic behaviour and his weirdness. I think there could be hope for him, but for now he's going to be an F. He is my least favourite character in the entire game, unfortunately. Like, he's worse for me than the ones who are kind of forgettable, because he just enrages me. Ima! Oh god, Ima is an interesting character. I don't really like him that much either, which is a shame, because when I went into this game I really thought he was going to be a favourite, because I love his design so much. But man, I don't know. I think we're going to put him mid. In fact, we're going to put initial Ima into bad but serves a purpose, because he's very two-dimensional, he's very aggressive, but he does sort of learn. And that's what I do like about him. What Gaku didn't have is what Ima has, unfortunately, is that Ima has some really nasty personality traits which he grows from, and gets better as a result. I still don't love his personality, unfortunately, but he had growth, and for that, he's gonna get put into C. Oh, Kaku, baby girl Kaku. Ima's sister, I do like her. Right, we're gonna put her in fine for initial route, because she doesn't get a chance to step out of Ima's shadow initially, so we never really get to know her, and it's very frustrating. However, once she does, and she starts to come into herself, she's moving up into A. I really like her. I think she's a really good character. I could have used more of her, to be honest, but for certain reasons I understand why we don't, and a lot of her arc, unfortunately, is about her being apart from Ima, and we don't really get a whole lot outside of that, other than that she likes to solve mysteries. So I just would have liked a little bit more from Kako, but generally I really like her. Oh, Shoma, baby boy Shoma. I'm sad to say this because it fits his character, but I do kind of forget about him a lot of the time. I really like him when he's there. Again, I wish he was someone who had a little bit more character development, because I don't think he really does. Honestly, what you see with him in Route 1 is the best you're gonna get. So I think I'm gonna put his initial into needs to be better written, and then I'm gonna put the rest of him into get some DLC, because this boy needs more, unfortunately. I like him when he's there, but he's just really not present enough. Okay, oh, Nozomi. This is going to be slightly controversial, I think. I'm not the biggest Nozomi fan. I think she's fine. So, in fact, she's going to go into true mid all the way through. I like her in some routes better than others. I tend to like her in the routes where she is not really considered the main heroine. I really like her in a specific route where she ends up getting really close to Ava, for example, but I find her a little bit boring, to be honest, and I just don't love her character. I think she was strongest in the first route and in one or two other routes, and then I kind of forget she's there, to be honest, sometimes. Carrara. Carrara was a grower for me. So initially I was fully in the she's bad, I dislike her. But then I kind of got to know her, and I actually quite like her now. So she's not going to be quite... I don't like her as much as I like Kako, unfortunately, but I think she's decent and I do enjoy her. So she's going to go up into fine. Kyoshika is another one who I think is just kind of fine, unfortunately. I like her and Carrara about the same. I'm going to actually stick initial Kyoshika into needs to be better written, because there is not really a lot there for her. But she does get better as the game goes on, I think. I'm just going to put her in fine. I think. I don't love her, unfortunately. I wish I did. I think she's got some great moments, but overall, she's not one that sticks in my memory that much. Yagamu! My freak! Honestly, yeah, Yagamu is just joining Darami up here. There's no other place for him. He's great. Yeah, he has some interesting routes. His dialogue is always hilarious, and I really, really love him as a character, so yeah. Yeah, fully. He's my blue people are up here at the top. Moko. Okay, now we're getting into the ones that do not have alternates. Thank God. Moko's great though. I think Moko is vastly underrated. She's joining up here. She is great. I love her. She kind of also belongs in Get You Some DLC, because I wish there was a little bit more of her, but I really enjoy her as a character. Again, much like Darami, she's very much a mood changer, which I appreciate when there are dark moments. She is the one who is usually supporting everyone, and I love her she's such a mother to everybody, which I adore. So yeah, if you don't like Moko, I'm sorry, you're wrong. She's great. Right, now we're getting on to the actual side characters as such. These are the proper spoiler characters. Oh god, Ava. Ava's so difficult, because I like her in some routes, but I think I'm gonna have to put her in bad but serves a purpose. She's kind of intolerable in a lot of routes, unfortunately. I do enjoy some of her story. I hate the brainwashing with her though. I hate that she is brainwashed. Often for most of the time you know her, she's never really herself. You rarely ever see her yourself, and that arc is actually kind of upsetting for me. I really dislike that, because I feel like we often never really know the true Ava, which is very sad. So she's going into bad. Shion, baby boy, Shion. He's in good. I really, really like him. He definitely also deserves to be in to get some DLC. For obvious reasons, we don't see him very much. But when we do see him, he's great. And obviously, a very important character in the games. Kamyun! She's kind of fine. She's okay. I'm gonna put her in mid, to be honest. I like her a little bit more than her mother, but there's not a lot to her, to be honest. Again, she's there just occasionally. What is the saving thing for me, I think, is when her and Nozomi have their arc together. I really enjoyed that, and I think that's what takes her out of being needs to be better written and into true mid. Oh, Sirei and Nigo. I like Nigo, is the thing. Sirei... Siri. Sorry, I'm not a big Siri fan. He has his moments, but generally I dislike him, to be honest. Nigo's good though. I like Nigo. Nigo's going fine. Nigo is kind of the side of Siri I wish we got, basically. Right, on to the commanders. In fact, I want to end this with Veshness, so we're actually going to go to the spoilers and pick out the gi. Needs to be better written. They're very menacing, but initially I thought they were really shoehorned into the game, and then it turned out they were actually a really big part of the game, and I didn't quite see that coming. They're interesting, but again, I feel like I just wanted a little bit more from them. They were just kind of not quite cookie cutter villains, but sort of. But they are, I think, at least more threatening in some ways than some of the other villains. So I'll give them that. In fact, you know what? Let's move them up. I feel like D is better for them. I don't think they're great, but they do serve the purpose. On to the commanders. This is going to be interesting, because I'm going to have to see if I can freaking remember all these. Right, Mervram, who was the very first commander you see. You kill him very quickly, or he runs away. He runs away, I think, the first time you see him. And then you kill him very quickly. So he doesn't really get much screen time, unfortunately. He needs some DLC. I really want to learn more about him and about Dalsha. So much so. But he just is not in it for very long for obvious reasons. So I don't think he's bad. I just want to know more about him. Right. The second commander is... Pakron is the second one you meet. There's literally nothing we really get to know about her, unfortunately. She's going to be in needs to be better written because there is not really a lot in there. She is just typical villain at this point because we're not yet at the point where we're getting villains who have characters. Adanake, however, is quite a fun one. I quite liked him. He's got a kind of a zany entrance, and when we get to know him more in the specific route, the Veshness route, I think it is, he's actually quite interesting. He actually does some stuff which I liked, so he's going to go up into good. Quenzele, which is... Quenzele is the flying one. He's kind of fun. I like him. He's fine, basically. I don't think he's amazing, but he's kind of fun, so we're gonna leave it at that for him. Harmouth, I believe, is the non-binary one. They're interesting. Their whole thing is that they can take control of people. They don't really do a whole lot otherwise, though, so I think they were menacing, I think, when they first showed up, so I'm going to put them into fine, but after that point, I don't think they are that memorable, unfortunately. Ava we've already had, so then we're moving on to Zentar. Zentar was kind of scary, not gonna lie. Zentar was obviously actually Moko in the first route, and she's kind of terrifying. She's less threatening in other routes after that point, but the impact she left in that first route justifies her being in good, I think. For sure. Right, then we have the couple. These are the ones that fuse together. These have to be and get you some DLC, because there is clearly more to these two, and they love each other, and they have a child, and I want to know more about them, but we just didn't get that in the game, basically. Nugank, I really like Nugank's design. Something about him, I just really like it. He's like the one that can turn back time, and he always gets paired with the idol girl, and yeah, something about his design I just think is really iconic. He's not in it very much, but I like him for what he does. Tanamtami, single-handedly my favourite of the commanders. Next to Dalsha. She's great. I just love her. She shows probably the most personality of all of them. I think her thing is really fun. Her gimmick is very fun. And yeah, I think she's great. I love her. Similarly, we're going to put Dalsha also up into great. He technically also needs to be in Get You Some DLC. But I love him. I'm so sad we never got to see him without the mask because I'm sure he is a DILF. But yeah, he's great. And then finally, Veshnus, the main villain. I really don't like her. I'm sorry. I really don't like her. I think she's really badly written. I don't think she's that menacing. She starts off being interesting in the first route, but after you've seen the same thing from her literally 100 times, I just don't like her that much. She was interesting in her own route, I'll give her that, but even then, I still didn't go out of that route feeling like I really liked her. So yeah, she is definitely going to be in No Amount of Writing Can Save You. So yeah, that is it. That is the entire ranking. I'm surprised only 2 of them are up in GOAT, actually. I thought I may have put another one up into GOAT, but yeah, no, these are my faves. I just love all these characters. Then the ones I really like, the ones that are good, and then we just kind of go downhill from there, basically. Although, yeah, Shoma can be always higher than Gaku. I'm sorry. Every one of these can be better than Gaku. So yeah, that is my tier ranking of the characters. Okay, so on to the route ranking. I had to go look up a couple of the names of these because I don't always actually know the names of the routes, to be honest. So these are not the endings, these are the routes. So of which there are 21 routes, apparently. So route 0, which is of course the base route, is pretty good. Do I want to put it in good or do I want to put it in great? It's a really solid start to the game. It introduces so much. I'm putting it in great because the ending alone pushes it into great. Second scenario is basically right after you first start, and then it branches off into all the different routes. This is the key route where you have to decide whether you're going to kill or not kill Ato. I'm going to put it into good because it's not the entire route, to be honest. Then we have Reset. Reset is interesting. This is basically the route where Reset is the route where you get to the end of the game, you follow second scenario to the end, and then rather than going back to the satellite, you end up staying on Earth, and Sirei resets all your memories so that you basically have a new life together that is absent from fighting. It's interesting, but I don't love it. I think it's a bit of a cop-out of an ending, and I don't think it really has some of the true emotion as the others. Goodbye Ato is interesting. Basically, this follows what happens to Ato when he leaves, but also tries to help you. So we're going to put that in good. Rebellion route is kind of boring, not going to lie. Basically, this is where Commune comes into it mostly, and you can choose to join a rebellion where the other people of Earth are going against the generals. The Ava route is also not great. I didn't love the Ava route. I liked getting to know more about the people on Earth, and obviously Ava is the romantic lead in that route, and I'm really not a fan of it. It kind of doesn't sit well with me. Multiple Atos. This is a route I did quite early. I really enjoyed multiple Atos. That was so wild, so fun, really unexpected. It's quite a short route, but I had a really good time with it. Serial battles. God, why? This one, like, I actually can't remember. I've got to go look this one up. Oh, okay, yeah. So serial battles is actually a really bad route. Basically, this is just the fights over and over and over, essentially, is all that happens in this one. It's not very interesting. So we're just going to put it into barely tolerant. In fact, rewrite corner, it was bad. Conspiracy route, I think also could go into rewrite corner. There's some interesting things here, but it did not feel fleshed out. The casual route basically is like, this is the route where not a lot happens, to be honest. And everything is calm. No, it's not quite delete from the game. I don't hate it. I just really wasn't that bothered about it. Box of Blessings and Box of Calamity. These were interesting routes, but I can't put them in good because honestly, I feel like both of these routes, they introduce the concept of the gi. Otherwise, they feel a little bit random, I think. Oh god, Cult of Takumi. Cult of Takumi. See, I kind of love the concept of Cult of Takumi. Don't get me wrong. I thought it was really interesting. I weirdly did enjoy parts of it because I really like cult stuff. But this one triggered me. This one triggered me so hard because basically it felt like everyone was kind of being brainwashed, which is what a cult does, obviously. And the endings are so freaking creepy. I like the endings, I think, is the thing. I like how creepy it got. This is where it is the darkest route in the game, I personally feel like. And this really messed me up. So I'm gonna put delete from the game because I don't really want to delete it from the game. But also, it traumatized me. So for that alone, I have to put it right at the bottom. And not because I hate it, because it disturbed me, basically. And the Veshnets route was just kind of fine. I didn't really care about the Veshnet stuff, but I thought the other stuff was really interesting. So we're gonna put that in there. You know what, let's actually move it up because I do think the other stuff is interesting. I still don't care for Veshnets in that route. Coming of age, that is one of the best routes. It's the one I think that feels like it has the most solid ending, I think, of the game. And yeah, it's a really nice route, basically. It is essentially like you're watching an anime and everything. They have to go through trials and tribulations. There's a lot of character stuff that I love. Everyone kind of gets their moments, and from what I remember, it does resolve in quite a nice way that feels fitting. Yeah, I think basically all of the endings in this are not happy, but I think they're really interesting endings, and I think they fit the game. Retsnom route, oh my god. I'm really torn, because the Retsnom route is the Darumi route, pretty much. And that hurt. That hurt. Because it's Darumi, I'm putting it in peak. I just am. Steady Fundamental. Gosh, this was a really difficult route. This was the final route I did. It's a Steady Fundamental, but I've been calling it the sci-fi route because this is where we get into time leaping. It gets very confusing, but it's also how you resolve a lot of things in other routes, so it's integral to the game. I think it's great. I don't think it's peak. I wasn't entirely happy with the final good ending of this route. I didn't believe that Ato was Ato in that route, and I think for those reasons alone, it also feels like it could be the true ending of, yeah, we're putting it in great. There were just some things I wasn't quite happy about, and I also found this a really difficult route to get through. It was so stressful a lot of the time. Ugh, the romance route, mid. No, actually tolerable. Barely tolerable. I'm really not a fan of the romance route. It wasn't really not for me, unfortunately. Just to get it out of the way, let's also put the comedy route up here into true mid. I didn't like a lot of the comedy route. The fish I liked the fish bit, but otherwise I was really not here for this route. I think I did this route right after the Retsnom route, which is like a really depressing route, and the whiplash I had from it, oh boy, it wasn't really for me. Tonally it was too light. I probably should have done this route earlier in the game to have enjoyed it, I think. And then the three last routes, and all of these routes are pretty solid, to be honest. So we have the slash route, which I'm gonna put into great. This is what feels like you're in a proper murder mystery, which I really enjoyed. I liked the reveal. I thought it was really terrifying. Killing game was good. I don't think I loved it quite as much as some of the others. There's a lot of distraction happening in the killing game from what I think they should really be focusing on, but it is really heartbreaking, so I'm gonna put it into good. And then finally, the mystery route is also going to go into great. This one was really solid route, I think, overall, and is more of what I wanted from this game, to be honest. So yeah, that is my thoughts on all the games. A lot of them, honestly, are pretty decent. These all make sense, to be honest, with stuff that I just don't think work for me. And it's not even that I think they're necessarily bad. They're just things for me that tonally I didn't necessarily want from the game. But when you've got 100 endings. They really were, I think, trying to get something for everyone that everyone would like. Like, I know my flatmate really enjoyed the comedy route, and both of us really didn't enjoy the romance route, but there are probably people out there who would really enjoy the romance route. Casual route I just found boring, to be honest. That's it. That's my final thoughts. Coming of Age and Retsnam apparently are my favourites. I really kind of want to move Cult of Takumi out of delete from the game, but I think I don't want to delete anything from the game, I think is my issue. But if there's something I would quite happily have maybe not played in terms of it affecting me really badly emotionally, then I think it was Cult of Takumi, because I just got something about that route really triggered me. The lack of agency from all the characters, Takumi being forced to go along with it was just horrible. So yeah, that is my thoughts, I guess, on the 100 Line game. Let me know down below if it's one that you've played, and yeah, who are your favourite characters and which are your favourite routes? Really curious to know. And I'm just really excited and happy that I finally finished this game, and yeah, looking kind of forward to any DLC that will be coming out. So until the next video, I guess, stay safe, stay cozy, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!